We finished in 2006, and we knew that by the time we push it for execution, somebody will say we're committing treason. So I called, there's something I'm about to tell you now. I don't think I've said it in this kind of public setting, because one of the principal characters is still alive. I called Wole Soyinka, who was very much involved with the process of Konako. In fact, he co-chaired the novel. I said to him, sir, we have agreed on what we have to do. By the time we begin, you can see your friend already saying we are committing treason. Of course, he fled when he saw the kind of people who were coming. You were going to lock up a novel, and lock up Ojukwu, and lock up Soyinka, and lock up all of those who, the first 11 from each of these nationalities, and lock up Buhari. Obasanjo knew enough to back down, and we succeeded in working out that replacement. I told Soyinka, please go to your friend Kofi Annan, who was secretary at the UN. Let him know that this is what the situation has been between the three of us, with Soyinka as the intermediary. We managed to get out an instrument that had been debated for 45 years at the UN, because the countries that had self-determination issues at home were ganging up to block it. Spain had Catalonia to contend with, Canada had Quebec, UK has Scotland, all those that, so they had to form the we found a way to get those who wanted it to come in some more number, and that was how that instrument came in 2007. From that point on, that right to self-determination used to be on a case-by-case basis became something you could go to activate yourself, because it was now universal and inalienable. The same way fundamental human rights apply to you as an individual, where if it is infringed, you can go to seek remedy. That is how that United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples apply to you if you are a nationality in your ancestral space. Nobody can. If you are not convinced to be in a union with the neighbor who is, whether you were brought together by colonial or whatever accident of history, from that date in September of 2007, it became your right to determine for yourself how you live in your space. Once we got that, it was a smooth run to say, these three, you must have heard about movement for New Nigeria. That movement for New Nigeria is the cooperation platform. It's not an organization per se. It's the cooperation platform between the self-determination efforts of the Lower Niger Congress, the ones in the Yoruba side, and the ones in the Middle Belt side, so that together we can work at taking down that constitution to free everybody from the union of death. And everybody will then decide how they want to relate with the others, whether they want to go alone or they want to. Can you see the number of technicalities in between? In all of this, nobody can make out any offense in that journey to ending. And we took our time to select when to take any one step. Go to the next page. What you see here, you've been hearing about roadmap, how do we go? This was the roadmap we had from 99 in 5 phases, a 20-year plan, with every step we have to take and what we expect at the end of each period written down so that we can measure whether we are making progress or not. We did the research here, had an outcome, we had a plan, and then that plan was to create a countrywide consensus to reconfigure the union. That is what will take this constitution out of the way. When we finished what we were doing here, which included the Pronaco, we had a draft. How do we enforce this draft? This is our goal in writing. We carried it forward to this period to delegitimize this 1999 constitution. That was the period we filed the suit, and the government had no answer to it. And we began to do things to show that the owners of the land will decide what they do and that they cannot continue to pretend that this 12th Shire still in the order, the union is still standing. From this, we carried it forward to say intensify regional actions. When Jonathan was going to contest to become president from the demise of his principal, Yerba, some elements from that group, from the Green Bloc, said that they will make the country ungovernable if Jonathan becomes the candidate to contest. And we were praying that they will do so that we can activate the balance of what was left. Luckily for us, elections came, Jonathan won, and they began to kill people. Remember the coppers they killed in Bauchi? And that was the first time they announced themselves as Boko Haram. Boko Haram ran riot all the way to when everybody saw that there was that the union was not going to hold. Of course, they charged the man out of government house because he wasn't one of those who could rule over them. Like that, in the next period, regional and global outreach, this, on the 30th of June in 2011, these three blocks came together under one roof and announced that they had come to the end of their patience with that constitution, and that each of the regions, we mandated ourselves to go and make out our constitutions. And it starts with your charter if you have more than one language. The Lower Niger, I'm sure some of us heard about the Solemn Assembly of the Peoples of Lower Niger in April of 2015. That was the point at which we had to go to put in black and white that agreement that brings Ogoni, Ijaw, and Efik Igbo as equal partners into a bloc that will bid for its independence. When we had done our own, we then push other people to do their own so that we don't bid alone. Does anybody remember the Solemn Assembly of the Peoples of Yoruba in September of 2017 in Ibadan? Does anybody remember? That was the day they did their own. The middle belt was on the 18th of July in 2018, the day the plane of Edwin Park was not allowed to land in Yamakoti. We were heading to a certain critical milestone on this roadmap where the three blocks would have repudiated the 1999 Constitution to the scene of the whole world so that they can come together and begin to activate the exercise of that sovereignty in a manner that Nigeria cannot come to ask them what are you doing. And I tell you, the next elections are coming. Go to the domino. We were rejecting the union of debt created by this imposed constitution, validated every 4 years by elections. And we said, we have gone to war to try to extricate ourselves from this bad arrangement. Didn't work. We have waited for 50 years for alternative arrangements to be negotiated. One part said it wouldn't be negotiated, that is non-negotiable. We now say, okay, at least this one is within our reach. Election. We can tell the global community that we're not going to any election. We can activate a process by which we will truncate the election, we refuse to go to election on the basis of that constitution. If they want anarchy, let them govern without election. Let them just know that we have that there's no constitution, there's no democracy. What you see here is Lower Niger, the Southwest and Middle Belt. If we truncate this by consensus, which was within our reach to do, go to the next page. This is what will happen. Election is truncated in a manner that takes down the constitution. So we wait for them here if we're able to activate this. On the 18th of the 11th of December, on the 11th of December in 2018, for an election they were advertising for February. The three came together, the MNN Alliance blocks came together in the Freedom Park Proclamation in Lagos to announce to the whole world that their various peoples have rejected that constitution by which this caliphate was going to election with two candidates, head or tail, Fulani will be, and that constitution will be the basis. Therefore, they are not going. It looked like it sounded very casual to those who are listening. But that was when Washington realized that the time had come. And we were invited. I'm sure some of us remember that we were here in January. We were in Washington in January. An emergency press conference on Nigeria was called at the National Press Club. The videos of it, all of you who came, if you have your phone numbers and emails taken, you're going to get materials that constitute the proof of all of these steps, so that it can become clear to you why that Nigeria of master and servant will not last beyond a certain date. And this is where we are now. We said that thing, those who understood it invited us to come and tell them some more. And we were able to tell them that not only has that Sharia Caliphate done all this havoc, but they brought their friends from the ISIS to come to join them, to take all of us out, not just in Nigeria, in the West African sub-region. When you look at the map of it, you will see why it became an urgent problem for. And the only way, the best way, the cheapest way, the fastest way to solve the problem already solves the one we were carrying around all the while. And that was what happened in Capitol Hill. There's a limit to what I can tell. I'm sure you saw some of the pictures coming out. That was how we arrived at that. Those who have the capacity to decide what next will happen in the kind of thing we are witnessing already decided. We are running around now trying to whisper to our people, trying to let them see that it's done. If they will listen and do just the needful, we are going to try on this question. If anybody thinking that there's still a Nigeria in place that will carry on, such a person needs to go to look more closely. That constitution is gone. The owners of the territory, the majority, have taken their steps. Can anybody remember that the presidential election was slated for 16th of February? Did the election hold that day? Was it INEC that postponed it? It wasn't INEC. Did you say what? Did Buhari not turn up to go to vote that morning? You think the forces that set out to create this dynamics succeeded? And it was on account of the fact that that election did not happen that day that they now come into the situation they have. That election is inconclusive. The whole world knows who won. And if anybody thinks that what happened the week after will become basis of presidential mandate for 4 years, for any of the two, can you now hear the story of INEC saying there was no server? When the result was captured, Washington had that result next morning. So we've come to the end of that journey. And for our brethren, the map I started with was to show us where the Biafra began and where it ended. If you carry the campaign of wanting self-determination in any other name, by any other guise, you're going to create problems you're not going to be able to solve. Because if anybody were to call you today, say, where's the map of the territory you want independence for? You don't have it, the discussion ends there. If you have it, and you've not gone to discuss with the people contained in that area, who are not of you, again the discussion ends there. You are just not going to move, even if you shout for 50 years. So, these are the things that if you do not have answer for the constitution by which the enemy is able to do all of what he's doing in your area, to take it down, you remain in your condition. If you do not have answer for the alliance of 1967 that assembled everybody against you, if you do not have a strategy for decapitating it, they will come up again because 3 million barrels of crude oil is still at stake. If you do not have a strategy for getting those in the West who were on the other side the first time to come to where they will be in the proper place, you have a problem. The process by which the matter will be concluded, the Lower Niger Conference was clear in its mind. If you go back to that, the one that has the timelines and the milestones, you discover that this is the only, the phase 5. Having done this, the Charter of Relationship, what are those things that will become constitutions for the successor countries? If we cross this line, this is where we are now to cross this line. The objective is referendum, the outcome is referendum. Your sovereign territory will be your land. If anybody is looking for anything else, that Lower Niger Congress has a plan that has been driven one step after the other to where you can already see how this terminal. Those who are asking what is Lower Niger Congress, what is its pursuit, can you see it with your eyes? That it is the sovereign territory of the peoples of Lower Niger with fresh protocols. That is, we will make the constitutions that will govern us going forward. And there's nothing Nigeria can do to take us back to any of this. We've passed all of this. And so, it is just remaining for us to take advantage of what God has done for us in finding the ears of those who have the capacity, who also have another problem they must solve, by solving our own first. I think we will have to drop it there. Thank you very much.
I quite honestly was going to ask them to keep talking, but I know we have to go to work tomorrow. If you let me write an excuse for you, you can stay and then we'll continue and let me talk some more. But isn't that interesting? You have to give it to Tony. He has the clarity, the delivery, and the knowledge. I mean, just for that, can we please put our hands together one more time? So, okay, I also want to say thank you for being patient. and also the decorum that we've shown. Tony, this is in Houston and Texas that I know. But in the meantime, while Tony's taking a quick 3 minutes break, if you grab some water, grab some refreshment right quick, and if you intend to ask questions, if you just pass your name, we give out some cards at the start of the event. So do we have any cards back here? Mr. Clifford, do you have anyone trying any cards to name to you? So you have Yeah, I get 10. Wait, please, you have to understand that